In today's video, I want to share with you what college classes look like if you want to become a teacher. Hey everybody, my name is Katie and this is Educate. If you've never been here before, I share my journey to becoming a teacher in California. So if you're interested in any of that, definitely consider subscribing and joining the Educate family. We'd love to have you. So just a little background information. I go to college in California. I am a junior and I go to a private university. So obviously all the information I share in this video is going to be specific to me, my college, and my specific major. But let's go ahead and hop into the information. So I'm gonna organize this video into two different sections. I'm first gonna share with you an overview of all 5 of my classes, and then I'm gonna share with you some examples of work and assignments in those classes. So my first class I'm taking is Math for Elementary Teachers. This is my textbook that we use. It is pretty big, but in essence what this class does is go over all the information that will be on the CBEST and CSET, which are the 2 exams that you need to take to become a teacher, and we also go over a little bit on how to teach all these concepts that we're learning about. It's a really fun math class because it's like back to the basics. You're learning like how to divide and multiply fractions and decimals. My second class is linguistics, and this class is considered an English class. I'm not an education course, but it's really helpful for teachers. In essence, what linguistics is a study of our human language. And it involves an analysis of language form, language meaning, and the reason why we combine certain sounds together to mean certain words. It is so interesting, especially as a future teacher, because it really emphasizes really simple concepts that you don't really think of. It is a pretty challenging course just because there's a lot to memorize, a lot to understand that's kind of brand new. You can go your whole life without ever learning linguistics, but it's one of those things that when you learn it, you gain so much more knowledge that you wouldn't have ever thought was even there. My third class is Philosophy of Education, and I think this is one of my favorite classes this semester because in Philosophy of Education, we look at different philosophers that have written about education and schooling and children and students, and we analyze them, we talk about them, we look at their impact on today's education, and at the end our final project is to write a paper on our own philosophy of education. This class really helped me to develop my own personal educational philosophy. I know that's always kind of evolving and it's always going to change as I go through my teaching journey, but this was such a great foundational class to understand different educational ideas like homeschooling and the unschooling movement and public versus private school. So that's definitely one of my favorite classes. My fourth class is called Ways of Speaking, and this is kind of like a communications class. We went through a textbook that outlined the different components of communication, and my teacher related a lot of the concepts we talked about to teaching. So we talked a lot about how to respond to students in the classroom when maybe they're really quiet or they've had a bad day. We talked about how to present yourself well as a teacher. We had 2 speeches in that class, a speech to persuade and a speech to inform, and those were really helpful because how my teacher set those up was kind of like a mock back to school night and then a mock teacher presentation. So things that we're going to use as teachers, we practice in that class, and it was so awesome to get that experience and practice what we're actually going to do. And my fifth and final class is Intro to Education Practicum. This class is so fun, and it's one of my favorites because we actually got hands-on experience working with students. So as a future teacher, you need to have a certain number of practicum hours to be able to graduate and to get your teaching credential. I don't know the specifics on that quite yet. I haven't met with my advisor to talk about that. I will soon. But this was a class where we worked towards those hours that we needed. And as we were reading the textbook, we were tutoring 4th graders and 3rd graders in math. So you got thrown into hands-on experience right away, which is so awesome. We also got to observe classes K through 8th. That was another part of that class. So we got to do some of our observation hours. So it was so amazing to get hands-on experience. I loved it. My teacher supported us throughout the way, guiding us on how to tutor different strategies. So I already have a ton of awesome small group strategies under my belt for when I actually am a classroom teacher. So that is an overview of all 5 of my classes I'm taking this semester. In the next part of this video, I'm going to share some coursework from these classes so you can see some examples of some of the stuff you might be doing in college as an education major. The first thing I want to share with you guys is my back to school night speech that I had to do for Ways of Speaking. I shared how this was a really practical assignment because it was what I'm going to be doing as a teacher. So for the template of this PowerPoint for this project, I bought Pocketful Primary's back to school night resource on TPT, which was such a helpful thing. If you've never heard of TPT before, it stands for Teachers Pay Teachers, and it's an online resource where a lot of teachers post their materials and different things on that site where other teachers can buy from them. And in this project, I really learned how to give a really awesome outline, an introduction of a speech, and then an awesome conclusion to really tie in the listener and get them really engaged. It was really fun to make, and it was really helpful to have a base resource to start this project. The next thing I want to share with you guys are some resources that I used in my math tutoring. I went ahead and created these really fun math missions, as I call them, and they were just kind of like math centers for my math tutoring students. So I had 3 different students, and so what I did when I needed a lesson idea for them was create different math missions, so kind of like a different math center for each one. But I made it top secret and like mission agent themed so that it was really engaging for them. I went ahead and decorated our table for math tutoring with like caution tape and spy stuff and magnifying glasses, so when they walked into tutoring, it was kind of like a little mini transformation. The looks in their faces were priceless. They were so excited to get into tutoring. They really were engaged when they were doing the center, and I even had something called headquarters, which was a really simple idea. In essence, what I did was I just had a corner of the room where I kept all my supplies for each mission, and every single time I wanted them to switch missions, instead of just switching them right in front of them, I would go and say, okay guys, I'm going over to headquarters for them to assign me your guys' next mission. And it was not anything. It was literally a corner of the room, but they couldn't come with me because it was top secret headquarters. They thought it was so fun. They were so engaged. So I just wanted to share this idea with you so you could maybe try it in any small group tutoring sessions that you might have. This was an awesome way to do that. And all I did to create these was just take simple black folders and paste on just stuff that I made on a Word document on the front, and then put in the worksheet or the recording sheet that they needed, and any supplies in the folder, and that was literally it. It was super simple. And the last example I wanted to share with you guys today is my linguistics research paper. This is a final project, so I'm not completely done with it as we are still in the process of creating it in the class. But I wanted to share with you my beginning stages of the paper because I'm really proud of the research that I did, and I think it's a really helpful assignment for teachers. So the topic I selected for my linguistics paper was reading instruction. The reason why I chose that topic was because I knew that as an elementary teacher, I would be involved with reading and teaching reading, and I wanted to do some research behind the different instructional methods that teachers use to teach reading. So in this paper, essentially what I'm doing is comparing the idea of phonics instruction and whole language instruction. As an education major, a lot of your papers and assignments really do pertain to what you want to do in life, which I find so exciting, so interesting, and I wanted to share it with you so that you had an idea of what some papers might be like as an education major. That brings us to the end of this video. I really hope you found this video helpful and informative, and if you did, definitely share it with somebody that is also looking to become a teacher. I'll see you in my next video. Bye guys. Oh, and shout out to my 8th grade volleyball team. You guys rock.